Hello beautiful and welcome back to my channel and welcome to this Get Ready With Me where I am going to talk a little bit about my Disney trip. I'm going to be using I still haven't used it, I'm using it today, the Haunted Mansion collection. I saved this one because I wanted to talk about actually going on Haunted Mansion while using this collection. So we're going to be trying that one out. I have some other things that I'm going to be using as well. But this isn't really about the makeup. It is mostly about me just, checking in with you, letting you know about getting some stuff off my chest, because I also want to talk about my recent, I don't want to say it's been health struggles because it hasn't really been, maybe more mental health struggles, but I want to talk about the things that I encountered with my health lately and what's been going on and why I've been maybe not as consistent as I usually am. I'm pretty consistent. I'm gonna save the part where I talk about like health and stuff to the end of the video because I realize not everyone wants to hear about those things. So I'll talk about Disney first, I'll talk about the health later, just so you know that like I will not be like switching them up. Is it supposed to be this color? Tone up primer. Okay. Well, we'll give this a try. If you hear anything in the background, right now we are having Ricardo's dad and Ricardo's dad's partner here visiting us in Austin. Of course, I still have to like do my thing. I can't just take time off. So we're doing things after work. Ricardo's also at work. But if you hear them in the background, they are our guests at the moment. So obviously they need to be able to like move around the house and everything as well. They have been enjoying the pool, which I don't blame them because Sweden does not have pool weather right now. Let's just put it like that. It does not have pool weather right now. So I went to Disney with my friends. It actually started with me and Heather saying that we wanted to go to Disney, and we started asking around people that we first of all wanted to travel with, and also second of all that we thought was going to enjoy it, and people that we knew have like talked about Disney. And a bunch of our friends, I'm still in the process of like editing all of my vlogs from the trip. As you're seeing this, I hopefully have gotten my third vlog up. Fingers crossed. I did film 5 different vlogs and 2 of them are already up on my vlog channel in case you're interested in seeing. I have a vlog where we're going to, I think this is gonna match. You can tell my face. I use some scrubs and more skincare on my face so my tan disappears, but I try to always like match it to my hands and hopefully get to be the same skin color all over my face. So I already have 2 vlogs up in case you're interested in seeing our first 2 days when we were in Orlando, but I will have hopefully the third one up. I'm hoping to edit it today. I just put it like that. But we had the best time, and if you want to see the friends that we met, honestly, it was amazing. I have been to Disneyland before. I wouldn't say that I am necessarily like, what do they say, like a Disney adult. I'm not that person. I've been to Disneyland twice before. Once with friends and once with my husband, and I really did enjoy it. But I will say I love rides. But I think Disney is more about like the feeling than they are necessarily about like the rides, which is like, I mean, that's fine. I did enjoy the rides that I went on, and I've never been to Orlando, so it was super fun. And I think I didn't even know that like Disney had different parks, because of course in LA I knew about, because I've been there, I knew there was Disneyland, and I knew about California Adventure. I'm like, what is it called? I knew about that because I had been there, but I didn't know that there was Epcot. I didn't know that that was a different park, and I didn't know about Animal Kingdom. I didn't know about like Hollywood Studios until I started watching Ali Dawson, and she lives in Orlando, and she was always talking about the different parks, and I was like, I didn't understand there were different ones. It was super exciting to be seeing all the different parks, and it was so exciting to be meeting some people that I have been talking to so much. I mean, I talk to Heather Austin and Linda and Ali Dawson behind the scenes every day, and now we also were able to meet Rachel Palmero. I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name. I'm always so worried that I'm mispronouncing. I should probably have asked her how she pronounces it. But I will link all the people that I went with this trip. I will link them down below. She also lives in the area, and we also talk in Poland now, which is so much fun. I really, really do enjoy it. I have a good time just meeting new people, and it was so fun. Teresa was there, Teresa's husband. I was able to meet like Ali's husband, Teresa's husband, Rachel's husband, and also Amanda, the owner of Unearthly, was there with her husband. I was able to meet her kids as well. It's just so amazing and so fun. And I talk to Amanda basically every day as well. She is such a sweet person. Not only does she make really good makeup, she's also like a really nice person. It's just super fun. I was able to hang out with Teresa and Ali an extra day because I came there before everyone else, and Leah Janae came down as well, and I was able to hang out with her. I've actually hung out with her twice before because we met in Charleston. We were staying at the same house in Charleston, and then she and her husband, who's also super, super nice, came down to Fort Worth, and we actually were able to hang out with them an evening there as well, and it was so amazing. And I'm fairly sure that a bunch of these girls is going to the other Creator and Friends trip in New Orleans that's happening next year, and also Betty Bean. I feel like Betty Jean is someone that I feel like I know her, but I'd never met her. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like I know her, but I had never met her, and I just think that she is so sweet, so wonderful, and it was so amazing to get to know her. And all the friendships that I make with people, it means so much. It just makes me super happy to be able to do stuff like this with people. I don't know, I feel very blessed to have people living, even if they don't live here in Austin, but like people that are friends that I talk to, not only about YouTube, but about other stuff, like about life. Because I feel like sometimes I get comments all the time of people saying, I wish that YouTubers would stop calling everyone friends. They're not friends, they're co-workers. But I don't think you understand it. These aren't just there are definitely YouTubers out there that are more co-workers. I talk to them about YouTuber things. But then there are sometimes those co-workers that you are actually friends with, and you actually do stuff with behind the scenes. Am I matching? I feel like I'm matching. And that's where these people fall in. We talk about everything, including some of the health things that have been going on this past months with me. Like, these people, I say these things to them. I talk to them every day. I bring them to the toilet. I change in front of them. I cry in front of them. I laugh in front of them. We tell each other great news. We talk about our families and our dreams, and we talk when we have a bad day, and we talk when we have a good day. It's not just talking about YouTubes and algorithms. It's about all the things. So I feel like sometimes it's a little unfair when people are like, oh, they're just co-workers, because it's like, yeah, some, but like I literally went on a trip with them. I celebrated Christmas with one of my YouTube co-workers. I feel like sometimes there are nuances to all of this, and I'm so grateful to have these people in my life. I feel like I need some powder. That looks already much better. Yum. I did a little brows and some lip liner, and we are going to be putting on one of these lips from Colourpop. I'm not 100% sure which is which. This is Graveyard Shift. Oh, this is the color changing lip gloss. I don't think we're gonna be doing that one. And then we have this one that is called Hitch a Ride. I don't know if I want to do a dark purple either. Let's see what else we got. And ooh, maybe this. Am I boring? Don't come for me. But I think this one. This is the Ultra Matte Lip in Beware. Let's put that to the side. We're probably doing that. And then we have Summoned Spirits. Yeah, we're doing the nude. I'm sorry. We're gonna do something fun on the eyes, but Let me live. There's also some Super Shocks in this one. I did take a picture. I don't know if it's up on my Instagram or not, but I will pop in the picture here where you can see. There are 4 Super Shocks in here. I'm not myself going to be digging into these. Instead, I'm going to put them in a future giveaway, but just know that there are some Super Shocks. There's also a glitter. This is Madame Leota, which is from the ride as well and from the movies. I still have not seen the movies. Thank you, by the way, for letting me know that there are actually 2 different movies. There's one that's old with Eddie Murphy and there's a newer one. I haven't watched either. I should. That's a really nice color. I actually really like the reformulation of the matte lips by Colourpop. I think they did a good job reformulating them into something more comfortable and a little bit more modern. That's very light, but let's keep that on. Let's keep that on. I'm going to be using a little bit of this one, the Rizzo Cream blush. I used it yesterday as well, and I really like it. I heard some people say they don't like it. I mean, it's not super creamy, but I use it with a brush and just paint it on. Don't expect something that's like very thin and super emollient. This is a little bit of a thicker one, but I don't think it's like super hard to work with, especially when you use like a brush. I personally haven't had any super problems. Do I love a super bright pink blush? Maybe not. Is this my favorite formula? Also maybe not, but if you really loved Grease and you wanted to get something, I don't think that this is a horrible thing to get from the collection. It does dry down a little bit to like a satin finish. I think it looks fairly good. I'm also going to be using What's Up Beauty released some new highlighters. The Serengeti Highlighter Duos. I got it in a lighter and a darker. Let me just quickly show you what these look like, because there are duos, but they're like animals in here. This is the lighter one. You see there's a pink and there's like a white. So this is the Acacia. In Sweden we would say Acacia. Do you say that too? Acacia Wild. Let's hope you do. And then we have the darker one that is the Sunset Safari. And I think I'm going to be using this one because I don't like a super icy highlight. And this is like a more warmer pink and like a champagne. And there's also a highlighter blush in this one. So I think I'm going to be actually mixing. I'm just digging in. So we went on the Haunted Mansion ride. And I thought, see, this is me. I love wild rides. And for a ride that was as hyped as that one, I don't know why I thought it was gonna be a little wilder. It's not a wild ride whatsoever. It is a dark ride that's very much calm. There is no wild things going on whatsoever. My favorite ride at Disney, Rise of the Resistance, without a single doubt. I sat there like a kid at Christmas. I cried twice. I am a big Star Wars fan, and I absolutely love the ride. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I remember myself thinking, wow, I feel like I'm in Star Wars. Loved it. Definitely worth getting we paid extra to go on it, to not have to stand in line for it. Definitely worth it. Absolutely loved it. I thought, here's the Haunted Mansion palette. I thought this ride was going to be, there's going to be some, not maybe a wild ride, but I thought there was going to be some kind of a mini thrill moment. Maybe like Rise of the Resistance, like just this one something. But it's just a dark ride that's very calm. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it wasn't exactly what I had in mind. I thought that all the scenery inside this was super cool though. I thought the ride itself was super cool, but it can never be my type of ride, and it can never be my favorite because I like a little bit of thrill. I love that feeling. I'm a thrill seeker. I can't help it. I can't help it. What do you want me to say? It's just the way it is. This, by the way, is the highlighter brush that came with the What's Up Beauty thing. I think this one is releasing on Friday as well. So such is everything else. Did you see, by the way, that Colourpop was hinting that they're going to be doing an extension to the Sailor Moon collab? I just saw that on their Instagram. I'm very excited to see what that is, honestly. I think that's going to be super, super fun. I'm trying to get a primer. Here we go. Let me just prime my eyes. So what do I think about the color story? I actually think that overall the color story is pretty accurate to the ride. There is one shade here that is like a turquoise with like an almost like a goldy sheen, and I think that's meant to represent a little bit of like the sheen of the ghosts. I think that there should have been a pop of something warm in here to represent that every light source in the ride is candlelit. There should have been something for candle, because that warm candlelit like orangey yellowy sheen is so well represented in this ride, and I'm surprised. That is something that I thought about while I was on the ride, but this is definitely a very cool tone palette, so if you want that, this could be for you. I mean, overall, I had an amazing time at Disney. I thought everything was super great. I think this one, right? It's called The Attic. I think that one. And I'm super happy and grateful to have been able to hang out with friends, and I honestly had a really good time, and I would love to go back. I'm not necessarily, like I said, like a Disney adult. I'm more about the rides, but just hanging out with friends in such a... I'm very much in touch with my inner child though, in such like a just playful and youthful place. It really does make you just super happy and grateful for a bunch of things. And while all of that has been super amazing, and I'm so grateful to be able to have that vacation with my friends, the past 2 months I have been dealing with some other things that have just really been nagging at my mental health, nagging at my stress levels, and have just made me fall behind on emails and work and swatches and just all of it. And some days have just not been able to work because about 2.5 months ago, I found a lump in my breast, which is pretty much one of the absolute worst nightmares I feel like I could have as a woman. And I have been dealing with going in and out on doctor's appointments, doing a mammogram, doing ultrasounds, and just trying to figure out what this is. Because initially, the doctors were like, this is nothing. And then they changed their mind. They were like, actually, we don't know if this is nothing. It definitely seems like something. You need to come back. And there were just a lot also. I'm so grateful that my husband is in medicine, that he was able to like decipher some of the medical language. Because it's been like, it has a lot of qualities that shows that this could be a cyst, but it also has a lot of qualities that shows that this could be something else. And we all know what something else is, which has not been amazing to be thinking about. And I've just lost a lot of sleep. I cried a lot, literally woke up in the middle of the night, being afraid of just honestly like dying, thinking like, should I get my, like, I don't know, will in order? It's been a really, really stressful time, and I understand for a lot of people that probably got back a different result than me. They probably think I'm over-exaggerating, but this has not been good on my mental health, and there's been really a lot of days and weeks that, because this has been going on for, like I said, over 2 months, that I just have not been able to work because I didn't have it in me to be dealing with work. And eventually, I should not be like putting this up like this is like kind of a suspense story. I did get a good like result back from the doctor, but I do still have stitches because they literally had to open up and look, what is it? Because they couldn't tell what it was. And that happened quite recently. Oh, I need to change my battery. That happened. That incision was made on September the 20th, which was the launch day of my collection with Oden. So I was just sitting there at the doctor's office, at the hospital, it's called like a cancer unit here in Austin, and that stupid little robe that you get with like openings in the front so you can get your boobies out, and just sharing your messages, being excited about all the kind words you're saying, but still not 100% knowing what's going on. So it was truly a eventful day for me. But yeah, I did find out that no, it is not something to worry about. It was eventually a cyst, but let me actually talk about that. Let me tell you that story, because I swear parts of that day, my soul left my body. I'm gonna use New Orleans, which is a little bit of a darker one, and I'm gonna do a Singe EO2. And yes, Singe is restocking. I even got some messages on my website. We are restocking, definitely, don't worry. It's just that it takes a little bit to have things in production. And we're also gonna have another launch with other products. So don't worry about that. Things are coming, things are happening. But yeah, I was there, and there were 2 nurses and a doctor in the room, and they were gonna do a possible extraction, maybe a biopsy. Basically, if they can't extract the cyst, it is not a cyst, then it is a mass, and they need to take samples of it and see if it's, well, cancer or not. And again, I'm saying this story, and if you feel like you're listening to this and maybe have gone through something similar, or if this is just triggering you in any way or making you feel bad, don't feel like you need to listen to this part, because I realized that I am lucky that I got an end result that was way better than some others. So this is just me sharing my story, and I'm not in any way trying to make it seem like my story was worse than anyone else, because it definitely was not. It's been very stressful for me, but I realized that in the end I was extremely lucky and fortunate, so I don't want it to come off in any other way. But there were 2 nurses and a doctor, and they were giving me this numbing thing, and I couldn't feel anything, and I was looking into the wall, and they were just, trying to make me feel good, because of course I'm nervous, because this is the moment of truth. They haven't been able to determine with ultrasound or mammogram whether or not this is the cyst or a mass, because it had some properties that made them question what it was. So this was the moment of truth. He was putting in a needle, and if he could extract it, then that was it. I could go home. And I can't feel anything because I'm numb, and in the middle of everything he says, switching to biopsy. And you could tell the temperature in the room just changed, because we all knew what that meant. This is an cyst, and now he needs to do a biopsy. And I think I stopped breathing. And I feel like my soul left my body. So I did the biopsy, and if you've ever had, remember in the 90s when we had the guns to do the piercings, that sound? That's how a biopsy sounds. There was no pain or no discomfort, but that is the sound. And then when he did that, all of a sudden, everyone in the room was like, oh, okay. They were surprised. And he was like, oh, don't worry, this is a happy surprise. We're just not very used to seeing stuff like this, because now that I'm putting the biopsy in, and they had to do an incision to do the biopsy, that's why I have stitches. But now that we're doing the biopsy, we see that the reason why we couldn't do the extraction is because it is indeed a cyst. It's just filled with almost a gel-like consistency, and that wouldn't be extracted with a thin needle, and we needed something bigger. That's what she said. So they were like, this is good news, and I can already tell by the somewhat liquid that's coming out that this is definitely a cyst. I will not even be sending this for any kind of lab work. I'm just gonna stitch you up. You are free to go. So it just took this major turn for the worse, and then took this major turn for the better. And I will say it has taken me days to properly deal with this change from being so worried, and then all of a sudden it's fine, you can go home, we're not calling you again. And it's been weird in a good way, of course, and I almost feel spoiled or ungrateful that I'm not immediately just brushing it off and just being like, oh, there you go on with your life, because I want to be the person that does that, but I can't let go of the feeling that this was just 2 very rough months where I honestly didn't do that good, and now I just have to somehow almost convince myself that you need to let go of that was nothing. It was it wasn't the way that you were painting it up in your head, and I'm so grateful, but I'm also, it's like my brain is confused. So it ended up being nothing, which I am of course incredibly grateful for. I mean, I love this color. This one is Psychic Medium, but it is one of those glitters, and there's also a glitter here. And I don't love those shades on me. I don't like the feeling of them. The hood just makes it feel gritty. So I think I'm gonna do this one, and we'll do a little pop of these two on the lower lash line. How about that? I think that's what we're gonna do. But yeah, I'm of course extremely grateful that how things turned out was like very positive. And I will say, if you have been in this situation and you did not have that happen to you, I am so sorry. I can only like imagine how difficult that must be for you. I don't know what to say. I'm just sorry. Life is incredibly unfair. Life is just incredibly unfair. But now I have this immense catching up to do with all the things that I don't want to say neglected, because it makes it sound like it was something optional. And if you've ever dealt with any kind of mental health issues, you know that it's not like I choose to be lazy. It's just that some days I just simply cannot, because I'm just almost paralyzed with fear and thoughts and just doom and gloom. Honestly, it's been 2 months of doom and gloom and just trying to keep appearances up. And I'm very grateful that I was able to have this moment with my friends at Disney, even though of course when I was at Disney I did not know that I was gonna have this positive outcome. But I also thought that like I would be very sad if I missed Disney, even if it was something. And I would be also sad if I missed Disney if it wasn't something. Like I didn't just want to not go because like I wanted to have time with my friends basically. And I'm very happy that I went. And I feel like I am closing a chapter of the summer of 2023 that was just very taxing on my mental health. And it just made me feel stressed and sad. And honestly, I'm happy we're past it. I'm happy we're past it for sure. But if I can leave you with anything as like what I have learned throughout this like thing, it is that don't take your health for granted. And if you sense that something is off, you find a lump, you find a bump, something is wrong, you don't feel yourself, don't be afraid to seek out medical help. Because I can say now, oh, it was nothing, but like it wasn't nothing. There was a lump there and it did need to be drained. And just like don't wait too long to get stuff fixed, because like the longer you wait, the more problems it can be. And I also realized that like me saying that as someone coming from a country with free healthcare is like, oh, that's easy for you to say. I do pay for health insurance in this country, and it's most definitely not affordable. And I also will say one of the things, if you're not living in the US, you might not know about this, but one of the things that surprised me the most, I think I'm going to use Portrait Chamber and see if I can use that in my corner, is that when you go into a procedure, you don't know technically how much you're going to be paying for it or not, because you don't know if your insurance is covering it until they send you a letter about it a couple of weeks later. So I have been to the doctor 3 times, and I've only gotten a bill for the first time, which was the first initial exam that I did, where we were like, what am I supposed to do with this? Am I making stuff up? So that was $30, which is, I mean, it's money, but that's not like a big deal, at least for me. It's not a big deal. But I still do not know if my insurance covers the last 2 I did. And I don't know what part I will be paying, and I will not know about that until they send me a letter, which they, as I'm filming this, still have not done. So I don't know how much I am owing for this. And I'm, of course, myself in a position where almost regardless of what the fee will be, it will not be the end of the world for me. Let me get a mascara. I'm still using the Tower 28 mascara. I really like it. Overall, I think this ColourPop palette is nice. Is it my favorite ColourPop palette? No. Is there anything wrong with this palette? Also no. It's a nice palette. If you like the color story, there's nothing wrong with the palette whatsoever. There are 2 glitter shades in here though. That's not my personal preference, and if that is a deal breaker for you, I'm just letting you know. They are considered eye safe, but they still feel a little bit gritty, and me personally, I wish they weren't here. But yeah, I don't know how much this is gonna cost me, and it is because I'm still paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month for health insurance as well. It's just, for me, very fascinating. And I didn't know that it was like a little bit of a surprise how much you were gonna owe for a procedure that you've already done, because like, yeah, I didn't know that you didn't know that until later. So that have been something that I have learned from this. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I have taken on 1 or 2 extra sponsorships of things that I still like. Of course, I never take sponsorships for things that I don't like, but usually I try to keep it to 1 or 2 sponsorships a month. But I've taken on 1 or 2 extra because, first of all, there were products I like, but also I'm like, I don't know how much this is gonna cost me. I don't know if this is gonna be a huge cost or not. And I also was thinking, well, what if this is actually the big C? Not COVID, but cancer. How much is that gonna cost me? Because like, trust me, the irony is not lost on me that I have to go through this the moment I move to a country without free healthcare. So I was like, this is the time to be a little smart with money. And then my dog was like, wait a minute, let me almost die and have to go to the ER. Of course, I will pay anything for him, but like, he's not getting the memo that we're trying to save some money. Of course, I already had some things planned and paid for, like vacations and stuff, that I can't just be like, oh, we're not doing this anymore. But like, I'm trying to be a little smarter with money now until I know exactly how much all of that is going to cost me, because I quite honestly have no idea. It could be $10, it could be $100,000. I literally could not tell you, if so my life depended on it, how much this is going to cost me. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting journey for sure. I'm not worried, but I'm just trying to, you know, not say no to sponsorships that actually interest me just because I'm like, no, I already filled my quota. Because there are definitely channels out there that do a sponsorship on every single video. And even though I definitely don't want to be that, and I don't blame channels for being that, I also think that maybe I shouldn't say no to like brands and products that I actually like and actually want to try or actually enjoy. It also makes no sense. Let me see if I can finish this one up. Get a half lash on. Oh, maybe a little turquoise. Does ColourPop have a turquoise? We can put that in my waterline. I feel like that would be super cute. So that is everything done. I did use this turquoise one that is called Crystal Crush by ColourPop, but I think this one has some shimmer to it, so I had to apply it in 2 layers and like let it dry in between to get it to be this in the waterline. So wasn't the easiest one I've ever used, let me just put it like that. But I don't do this video for anyone to feel sorry for me. I treat YouTube a little bit like my diary. I definitely overshare, but see this as me just getting something off my chest, just sharing with you, and also letting you know that like, sometimes trust your instinct. When you feel like something is wrong, don't be afraid to seek out a doctor, just because this could have gone either way. The jury was literally out until the absolute last second. So I'm very grateful that I did do the extra effort and took these 2 months of evaluation just to make sure that I'm like actually okay. And I am okay. You don't need to worry about me at all. I've gone back from worse things like this, so don't worry about me at all. I just really wanted to share this story, honestly. And I mean, I am turning 40 soon, so next year I'm turning 40 in January. I'm actually going to be doing my yearly mammogram as well, so they'll be having a better check on me come next year, and I'm excited about that. I also want to let you know that I've actually been invited to a Halloween party, a brand Halloween party. I don't want to let you know which one yet because I don't think it's like public knowledge as of yet, but I have been invited to a Halloween party and I bought a costume. I'm gonna be dressing up for the first time ever. I am fully embracing the Halloween spirit. I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have basically, and I'm just gonna try to make it as Halloweeny as possible without the jump scares, because I can't do the jump scares, but I can do the whole spooky feeling and like the Halloween spirit and like the fun, almost childish part of Halloween. That's definitely up my alley. I mean, you could see that with the Halloween collection that I released with Oden. And by the way, thank you so much for the support on that. It's been highly appreciated. You have no idea how fun it's been to read all your stories and hear your thoughts and see how excited you are about it, especially the week when it launched, because that was a very stressful week for me. But thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will have a video again real soon with more makeup content. Bye!